Morto flumine, proprio lumine, luna et sol et ciam prive.
Buenas tardes, soy Emily Hearn, la directora de aprendizaje digital. Estoy aquí con ustedes para platicar sobre las plataformas que tenemos en Schoology y Teams. Vamos a revisar la guía para padres de familia. Nuestra agenda esta noche es para revisar las cuentas de los padres de familia. Vamos a revisar las notificaciones, también cómo compartir el calendario de Schoology, también cómo ver las actividades y calificaciones de sus hijos. Después vamos a ver un poquito más en la cuenta de los estudiantes, del cómo usar el calendario y calificaciones. Al final, vamos a practicar un poquito del portal de autoservicio para padres de familia. Bueno, al principio yo voy a ir al sitio de CISD y cuando estoy en el sitio CISD voy a ir de la A hasta la Z. Luego voy a ir más para abajo para ver dos cosas. Si ustedes van a iniciar de sesión de padres, pueden hacer clic aquí, pero yo voy a enseñarles aquí el sitio de recursos para padres. Aquí tengo los recursos en inglés y si hago clic aquí en español, tengo que hacer clic aquí donde dice padres y veo aquí el video y también una forma que necesitamos, si ustedes tienen preguntas, que pueden entregar. Y después de la presentación les voy a contestar las preguntas. Si va más para abajo, tengo las diapositivas de mi presentación. Las diapositivas están configuradas para avanzar automáticamente cada 5 segundos. Si quiere cambiar eso, nomás tiene que venir aquí, seleccionar Auto Advanced y después tiene que seleccionar los segundos o si cada minuto para avanzar. Bueno. Ok. Yo voy a ir a mi cuenta. Esta es mi cuenta de padre. Aquí tengo una cosa que les quiero enseñar. Aquí veo todo en inglés. Si quiero cambiar eso, voy para abajo aquí, donde dice English. Hago clic y luego puedo seleccionar Spanish y luego voy a escoger Save. Ahora puedo ver el sitio en español. Bueno, aquí en mi cuenta no estoy inscrito en un curso, tampoco un grupo. Hay escuelas que están todavía creando los grupos de padres de familia en su escuela. Pero realmente no tengo mucho aquí. Pero hay notificaciones que tengo que configurar. Si hago clic aquí en mi nombre, voy a ir para abajo a configuración. Ok, hay 3 cosas que quiero notar. Si voy más para abajo, la primera cosa es defina su cuenta predeterminada. Ahora cuando inicio sesión, empieza aquí en la actividad de mi hijo. Si ustedes prefieren, pueden cambiar eso a la cuenta principal. No se olvide guardar cambios. La segunda cosa es la contraseña de la cuenta. Ustedes recibieron su contraseña de correo electrónico, pero si quiere cambiarlo a algo más, a algo diferente realmente, haga clic aquí en cambiar contraseña y tiene que poner su nueva contraseña 2 veces y luego va a ser, haga clic aquí en enviar. La última cosa es compartir su calendario de Schoology. Lo que pasa es, después de hacer clic aquí en habilitar, podemos poner el calendario de Schoology en nuestro calendario de Google o de mi iPhone. O hay muchos calendarios que van y actualmente voy a regresar a las diapositivas. Porque aquí tengo en el número 7, donde dice compartir el calendario, después de hacer clic aquí en habilitar. Si usted tiene un iPhone o un calendario de Outlook, Google o Android, un Windows Live o Hotmail o un Mac, nomás hacen clic aquí. Voy a hacer clic en Google para ver las instrucciones de cómo conectar mi calendario de Schoology al calendario que uso en Google. El calendario que tengo en Google no puedo ver adentro de Schoology, pero sí puedo ver el calendario de Schoology en mi calendario de Google. Ok. Entonces, vamos a regresar a la cuenta aquí de notificaciones. Las notificaciones sí están activadas, pero si ustedes quieren desactivar todas las notificaciones, nomás hacen clic aquí. Pueden ver que hay notificaciones para los cursos académicos, para los grupos y también para los grupos públicos. Algunos directores están mandando mensajes de la escuela aquí. Entonces, si quiere recibir un correo electrónico, nomás tiene que cambiar eso a activado. Las notificaciones que no cambian son las de personal. Ustedes todavía tienen que cambiar eso. Si no quieren recibir un mensaje privado, tienen que cambiar eso a desactivar. Pero realmente lo que significa es, si alguien me manda un correo aquí en el sobre así, yo voy a recibir eso en mi correo electrónico. Esa es una ventaja, ¿verdad? Algunos padres quieren recibir mensajes de texto. Si es su preferencia, nomás hacen clic aquí, escriben su número de su celular y luego de AT&T, Sprint, lo que sea aquí, y luego configurar. Después van a ver también, igualmente como el correo electrónico, van a ver notificaciones académicos, grupos de la escuela, grupos públicos. Aquí son lo mismo, que tienen que cambiar de los textos. Ok, así son las notificaciones de la cuenta del padre de familia. Ahora voy a entrar a la cuenta de mi hijo. Tengo que hacer clic aquí en mi nombre y luego voy un poquito para abajo. Veo la flechita verde aquí. No digo el cheque verde. Ahora voy a hacer clic en el nombre de mi hijo. Al principio empieza aquí en la parte donde dice actividad del estudiante. Yo puedo ver las actividades más recientes. Entonces veo que mi hijo ha recibido un 0 para este examen, que mi hijo entregó algo. También aquí, si hay tareas con calificaciones recientes, voy a ver algo aquí con un número, pero mi hijo no tiene eso. Pero sí, mi hijo todavía tiene trabajo atrasado desde agosto. Realmente esta es la cuenta en que entreno otra gente. Entonces, los cursos que tengo aquí desde agosto. La última cosa aquí que puedo ver son las actividades próximas. Todavía le falta algo de asistencia y mañana tiene 2 cosas que tiene que entregar. Bueno, para ver las calificaciones, yo recomiendo que ustedes hagan clic aquí en calificaciones y después en informe de calificación. Yo puedo ver los 2 cursos en que están inscritos, pero sus hijos van a tener 6 o 7 aquí, de matemáticas, de artes o de inglés, estudios sociales, ciencias. Si hago clic aquí en matemáticas, yo puedo ver algunos trabajos. Aquí el maestro puso esto de faltante. Entonces tengo un 0. Mi hijo tiene un 0 de calificación aquí. El próximo trabajo, yo puedo ver una línea igualmente de 1, 2, 3, de los 4 aquí que siguen. Lo que significa la línea es que el maestro todavía no ha entregado una calificación. ¿Cómo sé que mi hijo ha entregado eso? Bueno, si veo aquí de BrainPop, yo veo un documento aquí. El documento significa que mi hijo ha entregado algo. Igual aquí de CISD, English 1, también puedo ver el documento. También aquí veo que mi hijo tiene una calificación de esta actividad. Entonces, yo sé de ver eso. Mi hijo todavía le falta el primer trabajo. Aquí le falta entregar el segundo. No tiene que hacer o entregar eso. Todavía le falta entregar eso. Y necesita terminar el trabajo aquí. Puedo ver aquí de la fecha. Todavía tiene tiempo aquí para entregarlo, porque ya mero es el 15 de octubre y tiene que entregarlo el 16. Okay. Entonces, voy a ver aquí en las calificaciones. Bueno, si quiero ver exactamente lo que hizo mi hijo, yo tengo que ir a los cursos y esta área de matemáticas. También voy a hacer clic en calificaciones. Voy a ir aquí desde abajo donde dice English Writing. Voy a hacer clic aquí. Y ahora en Schoology puedo ver las instrucciones aquí de lo que tenía que hacer. Y yo puedo ver que mi hijo actualmente entregó 3 veces su trabajo aquí. Si hago clic aquí, puedo ver exactamente lo que entregó mi hijo. Ok. Voy a regresar aquí a las calificaciones para ver. Y si quiero ver aquí de BrainPop lo que hizo, porque sí sé que si entregó algo, si hago clic aquí, voy a ver exactamente lo que hizo. Mi hijo grabó algo y puedo escoger aquí para escuchar lo que hizo. Ok. Entonces, la ventaja de usar aquí de calificaciones es ver, es diferente entre Teams y Schoology, porque aquí en Schoology podemos ver exactamente el trabajo que tenía que entregar. Realmente el sistema que tenemos en Teams, el portal que tenemos, voy a ir aquí, el portal de autoservicio para padres de familia, ahí es donde ponemos las calificaciones. Entonces, hay maestros que sí trabajan en Schoology y luego tienen sus calificaciones en Teams y se ponen calificaciones en Teams. Y algunos maestros que se ponen calificaciones en los dos programas. Estamos trabajando como maestros ahora para actualmente que nombramos las actividades similarmente tanto en la plataforma de Schoology, igual en Teams. Cuando ustedes están en el portal, como tengo aquí de mi foto, hay 2 estudiantes aquí. Tiene que seleccionar uno de los 2 y luego lo que sigue aquí es donde hay mucha información de mi hijo. Realmente quiero ver report cards y del progress reports, los reportes de progreso. Puedo ver aquí actividades que hizo mi hijo o actualmente que todavía no hay calificaciones. Aquí puedo ver que mi hijo no tenía que entregar eso, por eso veo la EX de excusada. Ok. Sé que hay notificaciones en el portal que empezaron hoy. Ustedes recibieron un correo electrónico del distrito sobre lo que significa los códigos en el portal de asistencia y también de las calificaciones. Voy a regresar. Ok. Hay una cosa más que quiero enseñarles del Schoology. Voy a regresar a la cuenta. Ok. Si voy en un curso, voy todavía de matemáticas y si quiero mandar un correo al maestro, voy a hacer clic aquí en miembros y voy a hacer veo la maestra Miss Mulligan. Voy a hacer clic aquí para enviar mensaje. Aquí. ¿Qué le falta mi hijo para entregar? O puedo escribir que todavía mi hijo tiene problemas cuando va a entregar algo. Luego voy a hacer clic a enviar. Entonces, la maestra va a recibir mi mensaje en su correo electrónico. Quisiera ver aquí también el calendario. Y ese es el calendario de mi hijo. Puedo ver muchas cosas aquí. El color anaranjado es para los cursos. Mi hijo no va en unos grupos y no hay eventos para su escuela y por eso no veo esos colores. Una cosa más y luego voy a ver a las preguntas en la parte donde dice aquí, al principio cuando entregamos y veo trabajos atrasados y trabajos próximos. Hay algunos trabajos que no se ven aquí y hay dos razones por eso. Algunas veces los maestros le faltan poner la fecha para entregarlo. Esa es la primera cosa. La otra cosa es que aquí en las calificaciones, en la parte del informe, voy a regresar a matemáticas. Si veo aquí de faltante, después de poner faltante en una actividad, si había una fecha para entregarlo, eso le quita del calendario atrasado, de la parte donde dice atrasado, realmente. Entonces, hay muchos padres que nomás quieren ir a calificaciones y informe para ver todo. En vez de ver nomás trabajos atrasados aquí y actividades próximas aquí. Estamos trabajando también como maestros a poner fechas para entregar los trabajos para que podamos usar el calendario para organizarnos. Ok. A ver. Bueno, si ustedes no tienen los códigos de acceso, sí puede poner aquí voy a regresar aquí y les puedo mandar por correo electrónico. Aquí donde dice Schoology Parent Training o está nuestro sitio de español, aquí también. Y nomás, si puede escribir aquí que todavía necesito mi código y les mando por correo electrónico. Nosotros vamos a dejar los videos aquí, donde dice los tiempos aquí. Si ustedes todavía quieren regresar a ver de nuevo. Ok. Voy a ver si hay otras preguntas. Ok. Voy a revisar eso otra vez. Tenía pregunta aquí. Si estoy en la escuela, en el sitio de la escuela CISD y voy a la parte donde dice la A hasta la Z. En la letra S para Schoology van a ver el inicio de sesión de padres y también van a ver el sitio que tenemos los recursos para padres. Y si hacen clic aquí, tengo los recursos de padres, también tengo el sitio en español. Okay. Los que están mandando un mensaje que necesitan su código después de esta presentación, les voy a mandar su código. Gracias por estar conmigo esta noche o esta tarde realmente. Espero que le vaya bien y nos vemos prontísimo. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us here this evening. Tonight, we're going to go and just have a quick 30-minute look into Schoology and a little bit into Teams, and hopefully get some questions answered and probably have some more questions asked. What I would like to point out is there is the Google form on our website where you found the video. If you would please ask your questions there. And then if you want a personal response, please put your email address and we can respond personally. After the presentation, I'll be going through the spreadsheet where the questions have been asked and to be able to answer as many of those as I can right now during the presentation. My name is Emily Heron. I'm the Director of Digital Learning here in Hays CISD. I am excited to be able to bring you some more information. So I will point out actually one more thing. If you scroll down to the bottom of our website here, I have the slides that I'll be using during the training. They are set to advance every 5 seconds. So if you'd like to change that, slow that down a little bit. I would come down here to the gear for the options and then click auto advance and then choose the time frame you'd like to be able to go through those again. There are some slides in here for the calendar, connecting your calendar. You always have the opportunity to pause the slideshow as well if you get to the calendar instructions. So I just wanted to point out that particular resource that we're using this evening. So let me come back to my presentation. So our agenda tonight, we're going to talk about the parent notifications and the parent account, talk about the ways to share the Schoology calendar with whatever personal calendar you use, and then where to see student activities and grades. We'll take a little bit deeper dive into the student account, look at the calendar and grades from the student perspective. And then finally, we'll talk about the parent self-serve. Notifications actually got turned back on yesterday. And so what that means for your email address or emails coming to you from the parent self-serve. So I am going to head over into my parent account. When you go to our website, under the, let's see, I'm going to take off the translation here. Under the section A to Z on our website, you go down under the letter S for Schoology. We've got the parent login here that'll take you directly to the website that you need to log into. And then the parent resources website where you found this video presentation is also linked right underneath there. So those two important websites. Now I have logged in here, and let me come down here and real quick change the language to the website. When I first log in as a parent, my view is pretty basic right now. I am not a member of any courses. I have not joined any groups. I don't have any resources. There are some campuses that are getting together parent groups, some like Athletic Booster Club, the Band Boosters, that are putting together a Schoology group where you can receive some information. I know some counselors at the high school level are in the process of putting groups together as well, so that they can send information out in Schoology. So this page in and of itself is not very informing, but I do want to spend a little bit of time going over the parent notifications. So on the website, if you click by your name and then scroll down to the settings, there's 3 account settings that I want to point out. The first one is to set your default account. This means when you log in, initially, you'll see your child's activity. If you want it to be your main account, then you can change that, and just be sure to remember to save changes. The next thing I want to point out is the account password. If you'd like to change your password from the one that the district created for you, please do. That makes your account more secure. Click on change your password, and then you'll type your password twice, then click submit. It will log you out of any other device that you were logged into Schoology when you do this. And then the last point that I want to make is about sharing the Schoology calendar. So you can share your Schoology calendar into your, if you have an iPhone, if you have an Android, or if you use Google Calendar, Outlook, there's a couple different options that you have if you're collecting all of your calendar pieces. So you can send your Schoology calendar to any one of those. It doesn't work the other way around. The first step though here would be to click enable. And so once you click enable, let me try that one again. I'm going to hit refresh real quick. I'm not sure Schoology really believes me when I say enable, because with the trainings I've done today, I've clicked enable, disable, enable all day long. There we go. There it is. Okay. So what I want to point out in our training real quick, I'm going to hop back over to that for a second. A couple slides down on slide 6 here. Let me make that one bigger. You'll see the same share your Schoology calendar and click enable. And then depending on which device you want to connect it to, just click, let's say I want to connect it to my Outlook. I'll click there and it'll take me to the slide that gives me the specific instructions for that calendar. Let's say I have a Mac calendar, I can click on that. So we won't spend much time on that. And if you have questions about it, you can please reach out and we can help you connect that. But that's a great resource to be able to pull those in. Now I will say if there's things that are due at 11:59, it'll show up at the very bottom of your calendar. So those are the 3 things in the notifications that I wanted to point out for you. I'm sorry, in the account settings. Let's go to the notifications. So under the notifications, you can get a notification for a lot in Schoology. Right here where it says academic, those refer to the courses that I as a parent belong to. The school groups, again, that I'm a part of. The public groups, if I've joined any Schoology groups. Now this one, I will say the schools, we do have some schools that are using the school update feature. And if you want, you can turn that feature on to get an email sent to you anytime a principal or an assistant principal or counselor would send out a school update. So anyone who's rostered in that school would get, or anyone who belongs to that school or has a child at that school would receive that email. Now at the top left, you might have seen this turn off all notifications. When you click there, it'll turn off all of the notifications there. See, everything turns to off with one exception. At the bottom of the screen is the personal messages. It leaves those on. So you will have to go and change these manually. I have selected here to still receive a private message. That means if I come up here to the envelope and I send a teacher an email, that I can also get a email sent directly to my email address without having to log into Schoology to check it. Some parents have shown interest in getting a text message. So if you want to send your notifications to your phone, you would click there and enter your cell phone number as well as your wireless provider, and then click Set Mobile. When you do that, another column of notifications is going to appear and it'll say text message. So you will have to set those notifications to be the ones that you want to receive. The ones I would highlight here would be any school updates. I would turn those to on, make sure I get the principal communication, and then the personal message if somebody sends me a private message. Be sure to click Save Changes at the bottom of that. Those are the parent notifications sessions. I do want to say, yes, this training, this video will be available on our website after the training if you want to come back to it to watch again. So let's see this. Let me pull up my my cheat sheet over here. Okay. So we're going to go head over into my child's account. So I have my student here. Notice I've got the green check mark here to show that I'm in my account. I will click on my child's account here. When we first log in, it shows the most recent student activity. So I can see that my student received a 0 for this test. They submitted an assignment for this activity and the date and time in which they did that. I can click here for more, and it's just going to keep, and I keep scrolling, and I see more. You'll notice here that some of the assignments and announcements that get posted to my child's section, I also get to see those announcements. So this is really considered kind of like a Facebook stream would be for the student activity. When I click on enrollments, that's going to show every course that my child is enrolled in. So if you have multiple students in our system, you will see all of their names appear on this list on the top right. You will need to switch between their accounts in order to see their information. So for my child here, and this is my training account, so I try not to overwhelm too much with too much information here. I just have my child enrolled in 2 courses, a math course and then this other course. So when I click on this math course, well, actually, hang on one second. Let me go over the rest of this page first. So over here on the right, you'll see the recent graded assignments. So anything that I haven't seen or clicked on here will show up there. Now, one thing you'll see, and this is the overdue area. And let me refresh real quick. And then the upcoming events. So you can see my child has quite a number of assignments that are overdue, some from the beginning of September in one of his classes, and then the upcoming. What I will give a moment of pause to is that when there are 2 reasons why the assignments disappear from the overdue list. The first would be that there wasn't a due date attached to it. So if there's no due date attached, it's not going to show up actually on either of these calendars. The second would be that a teacher has gone into the gradebook, the Schoology gradebook, and marked the assignment missing. So what many parents are finding a little bit easier is up here at the top where they go courses, groups, grades. This is my students view right here under grades. Clicking grade report. And then I select the course that I'm looking for. And now I see all of the assignments. You can see this ELAR assignment right here has been marked missing. And so even though it did have a due date, it disappeared from that overdue date because it was labeled missing. So some parents are finding it easier rather than spending time looking at this particular calendar of what's overdue and what's upcoming right here. They come over here to the grade section and click grade report and then go directly into the course. Now you'll notice these first 3, there's no due dates attached to that, but then the rest of these do have due dates. So let's talk a little bit about these sections right here. This assignment was marked missing. And then I notice I've got a dashed line here for the next 4 assignments. That means that no grade has been put in yet from the teacher for this particular assignment. Now you'll notice on this 3rd assignment, my student was marked excused from that assignment. One of the benefits to this system is to be able to assign individual assignments to students or groups of students. So if you have a student who is redoing an assignment, they could have it individually assigned to them. So here, and I will point out the difference here between this second assignment, or actually let's go between these 2. I see the line here, no grade has been put in, but I also see on this Brain Pop assignment, a document. So when I see the document, that means that my student has turned something in. It just needs to be graded. You'll also see that same document here on an item that the teacher has already graded. So by looking at these two, I know that this document has been turned in. And here in a second, I'll show you actually how to see what your student turned in. The last thing I wanted to point out on this particular view, so this writing task assignment, I've got the due date right there, and the teacher has actually already gone in and marked it incomplete. This assignment does not, when it's marked incomplete, it will stay on the calendar. If it's marked missing, it disappears from the calendar. So the difference between those, and that's something we're working with teachers on as well, to understand the difference between those two things, the missing assignments and the incomplete assignments. So as a parent, I would go here to the grades and I would select the course that I'm looking for. And then I get to see the overall picture. In the earlier session, one parent said, why do we even need Schoology? Why not just look at Teams? And there are many parents who are just continuing to look at our Teams parent self-serve. So Teams is our official gradebook, and the grades that are in there are the ones that count for our eligibility at the secondary level, and all that comes with that. Now, the benefit to having access to Schoology versus, let's say, like we had last year, Google Classroom, I'm going to take you into a little bit different view so that if you want to see what this 9 out of 11 means, we can actually click on the assignment and click on the activities that the student has turned in. So this is the math course. I'm going to click here on courses, and I'm going to click on math. Now, I would not spend time trying to figure out which folders have which things. I would go straight back into the grade section. Now, by all means, if you want to expand the folders, the Monday through Friday folders, or the unit folders, please do. This will get you to the exact same view we were looking in with one difference. I can now come to this hyperlink, this document right here, and I can click on that activity. It's going to open up in a new tab for me. And then I can see over here, my student turned in 3 submissions. So I see this one was turned in at October 13th at noon. This one was turned in at 2:09, and this one was turned in October 14th at 9:15. Now, if I click here, and then actually before I click on what they submitted, I can scroll down and read exactly what their assignment was. And then if this is again the assignment that had been graded, you see these 4 squares, the little blue and green one. At the bottom, that means that it was graded with a rubric. And so I can actually see the criteria here that the teacher was using to grade, the grading scale. So I can click on this assignment, and then it's going to pull up the image that my student turned in. And it might take a second. So as this is loading, and then you can see the paper that they had taken a picture of. Now, if there happens to be now I know this because I submitted this assignment, but if there happen to be more than one picture attached to an assignment, then you can come up here and click which assignments these are to see the different pictures. I'm going to come back here under the grade section again. And now I have a private access only. This happens on occasion. And what I want to point out here is that what happened when I clicked on that student grades there, it actually went back to my parent account. So when you see the private access only message, come back up here and click back on your student's account. It'll take you right back in there. And now you see you're viewing as your student. I'm going to come back into the grade section again. And then I want to point this out. So when I'm looking at this screen right now, I can tell my student needs to turn in this assignment right here because there's no document. My student needs to turn in this assignment. It's been marked missing by the teacher. My student's good on this one because the document is there. Right here, my student's needs to turn it in. There's no document turned in. There's a document there. My student has turned this in, and there's a grade there too. This has been marked incomplete, so I know that's something that we still have to look at. And because I'm in the student view right now, I can click on any one of these activities to be able to see what they have to do. Now, there's in the parent account, even when you're viewing as a student, there is not a way to turn in the work. So the students will still have to go back in their account, log in through ClassLink to submit the activity. Now, what I do want to point out here that's different from the parent account is you don't see any envelope here. The parent account does not have access to the student messages, but you do see what the calendar of the student sees. So if they're in a group, any groups that they're a member of, all their courses, when you click on this calendar, you can kind of see the overview of what they have. I'm going to expand this to the week. And I will say that it does start at 5 a.m. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit and you'll notice most of these are actually due at 11:59 on the day. The way our attendance is that we take attendance for our virtual learners from 12 a.m. to 11:59. And you'll notice also the color of these assignments is this orange color. And that just tells me right here, the key says those are all the courses. I'm going to come back to the month view. Now, when you connect your calendar, these are the things that will show up on your calendar. Let's say you connect it to your phone. So you'll get all of those items. But again, if they're due at 11:59, you'll just see that at the bottom. The one thing I want to point out, we talked a little bit about notifications earlier, and there are notifications for the parent account, and there are 2 notifications for the student account. And when I talk about notifications, I mean getting an email sent to you for particular items. So you'll see I'm on my student account still. It's got the green check mark here. And then let's go into these settings. It defaults to the account settings. I'm actually going to click on notifications. There are 2 notifications that you can get sent to your email. One is a parent email digest. It is defaulted an email summary as off. If you want, you can select either a daily or a weekly report of what your student or your child has done in the system. You can choose the time you want it sent and then the day of the week. Now, if that's the only change you want to make, be sure to click Save Changes here. Then we have the overdue submission email. This is very similar to the notification you can set up in our parent system in the self-serve portal to receive an item. Now, the main difference in the self-serve portal, you set it up so that you can say, I want to make sure that I get an email if my child receives anything less than a 70, and the system will send you an email. So this overdue submission email will send you an email when the due date has passed and there's no submission from your child. So that's either an on or off, and that's just an immediate, as soon as that due date passes, you would get the email, hey, your child still needs to submit something. And just be sure once you make those changes to click Save Changes. So let me come back on. Now, the last part that I wanted to talk about tonight was the parent self-serve. The attendance and grade notifications have been turned back on. We are working as a teaching staff to make sure that we are naming assignments similarly in Schoology and Teams, so that when you pull up the parent self-serve portal, you can see, okay, this is the brain pop video. And then if I happen to come look at it in Schoology, I see the brain pop video and I see the two are matched. When you log into the parent self-serve, this is an example of a parent that has 2 students in our district. And so when you click on one of their names, you get all the tabs at the top. And specifically, we're talking about report cards and progress reports. When you click on the progress reports and click on the grade for whichever course you're talking about, you'll see something that looks like this. It has the knowledge check, and I see there's still a grade that's missing for this one and for this one, but a grade has been input for that one, for that particular assignment. And I took a picture of this one particular because my child was excused from this activity, and then got those grades, and then is still getting, or still needs to get their participation grade for this this particular assignment. So the let's see. Okay. And so notifications here again are being sent as far as if you've set those up for the grades, anything less than a certain amount or whatever your threshold is, to get those sent to you. So we've got a couple questions. I'm going to come over here. So yes, this training will be available later, and I'm actually, and it's going to be on our website. Right now, we have the earlier trainings that we have available, and I'll make a link to the slideshow so that you can put that in full screen as well. There's a question about the assignments. We are working to make sure that the teachers are assigning due dates for assignments, and so that those do show up in the calendar. That's one of the features that we can help our students out with specifically time management skills. That's always a challenge, and the calendar can be a great resource for that. So I see a couple of questions about the grade section for assignments. There are some courses, and I don't have specifics on this one in this question that's been turned in, but I do know there are courses like our high school English course that we just went through a textbook adoption. They are using the Study Sync system and assigning things in that system. So the calendar events wouldn't show up in Schoology. They'll show up all in the Study Sync program. So, and great question. A question came up about the parent portal and Schoology being synchronized. They are not synchronized yet. And that has afforded us a little bit of flexibility in Schoology to kind of work through some of the kinks in the system. But right now the parent portal is the official gradebook. And so if there are discrepancies between Schoology and the parent portal, I would highly recommend reaching out to the teacher to say, you know, hey, I noticed that there's a discrepancy between the two. I do know that you have to set up the weights, the grading weights in Schoology, and so if that hasn't been assigned appropriately, but it does get assigned appropriately in Schoology, that might be part of the discrepancy. So let's see. Yes, if you are not seeing any assignments in Schoology, I would highly recommend reaching out to your teacher. And actually, let me go back over here to show you this piece. So in the parent account, I'm going to come to that math course. So again, I am still viewing this as my child. It's my parent account, but I'm viewing it as my child. I'm going to come over here to the members tab. And then I see the names with the stars are the actual teachers of the course. So I know Ms. Mulligan is my teacher. Over here on the gear, I'm going to click that and I'm going to click send message. So I'm going to type assignments and then I'll say, hi, Ms. Mulligan. I noticed my child, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much. And then I'll click send. Now that is going to go to the teacher's email box, and then they can, when they respond, assuming you've set your personal messages to receive your email in your email box instead of having to come view the messages here in the platform, then you'll get an email response from the teacher. So the question here about, I'm going to come back to our grades under grade report. So in this math section right here, I can tell based on this document right here that has been turned in. These two assignments have been turned in. Anything without the document or without like the excused here symbol has not been turned in. The line here means that no grade has been put in either. So this brain pop assignment right here, let me come into the course again so I can see what that is. And you might choose to not pay attention to this grade. You might choose to go directly to the course where your child is enrolled. So I come here to the brain pop and I see again, there's that document. I click on the brain pop and then I see there's the assignment and I can click here on the assignment submitted. It does say that it was submitted late. And then I can listen to or see if it's a picture what my student turned in there. So back either you can look at that here under grade reports, or if you choose one of the courses where your child is enrolled, you can click on grades at that course. Oh, it defaulted back to my parent account. I'm going to go back to my student account here at the top right. Come back into the grades and click the section. So now coming back here, I notice this document is showing me that something's been turned in. And anything with a line still needs to be graded. So I will have to look at, I see some questions about notifications on particular times of notifications. I'll have to look into that and get back to you personally on that one. And then as soon as I clean up the video, and by clean up, I mean take off the first 10 minutes of classical music, I will put this video right here on the parent website under the 6 o'clock session. It'll be, you can just click that link. So this link right here is from the earlier session that we had. Our next training, we are still working through a couple of meetings in the next 2 weeks to get that on the calendar. But our next training is going to be about how to integrate Google and to make sure that we've got our Google set up correctly so that it works well within Schoology. I appreciate you guys spending 30 minutes with me right now in probably the most hectic time. Your kids are just getting home if they're in school, or you're about to do dinner, you've got it cooking. So I appreciate the time you spent this afternoon. And please reach out to your child's teacher or campus or department if you have any other questions. Thank you so much.